Humans invented beds for sleeping and accidentally turned them into interrogation rooms. Lights off, blanket on, brain stands up like, all right everyone, let's review every mistake since birth. This planet should charge entry fees to human brains after sunset. Before I share the drama that happened today, let me introduce myself. I am Mango Man, a mind specialist from a planet called Mangosphere, where brains sleep instead of doing surprise stand-up comedy at 3 a.m. I've been on Earth for a few days, and bedtime here is a pure comedy show. Earlier tonight, I witnessed a completely normal human interaction. Two humans spoke. Words exited mouths, nothing exploded, nobody cried. One human nodded politely, the other human smiled politely. The conversation ended politely. Everyone walked away alive. I marked the moment as safe, completed, emotionally harmless. I was wrong, very wrong. Because 5 hours later, at exactly 2:37, I detected a spike in brain activity, so aggressive that my Mangosphere sensors assumed Earth was under attack. No meteors, no aliens, no apocalypse. Just one human. In bed, eyes closed, mentally screaming. The conversation was back. Same sentence, different tone, different meaning, different crime. I zoomed into the human's mind and immediately understood the problem. The brain had reopened the file. Inside the human's head, the brain was pacing like a lawyer who just discovered caffeine. The brain said, "What if that sentence didn't mean what it meant?" The sentence sat quietly in the corner. Menacing, innocent, doing absolutely nothing. The brain continued anyway. What if it sounded rude? What if it sounded stupid? What if the eyebrow movement was illegal? What if the pause was too long? What if the pause was too short? What if breathing was a mistake? The human's body remained still. The human soul was doing parkour. I watched the brain replay the sentence again and again and again. Each replay got worse. The brain added sound effects, then subtitles, then a laugh track that clearly hated the human. By replay number 8, the sentence had a personality. By replay number 12, the sentence had a criminal record. By replay number 20, the sentence had ruined the human's entire childhood retroactively. I checked the other human from the conversation. They were asleep, peacefully, like a potato with goals. They had forgotten the sentence in 4 seconds. I wrote this down carefully. Replaying conversations is a solo sport. There are no winners. Only participation trophies made of anxiety. The human's brain was now directing the scene like a low-budget movie producer. The brain said, "Say it again, but this time sound confident." The sentence tried again. "Still bad," said the brain. "Say it with confidence, but also humility, but also humor, but also mystery." The sentence collapsed emotionally. I watched the human roll over in bed. The brain took this as encouragement. "Great," it said. New angle. New lighting. New shame. At this point, the brain had fully transformed into 3 things at once: a director, a critic, a lifelong hater. The brain was not looking for truth. The brain was looking for control. Humans believe replaying conversations is thinking. This belief is adorable, but incorrect. This is not thinking. This is the brain chewing on a memory like gum that lost its flavor in 2014. The brain pulled out its favorite move next, the rewrite. It replayed the conversation, but now the human said something cooler, something smarter, something that would have made the other human gasp and rethink their life choices. The human smiled slightly in bed. Then the brain ruined it. "Why didn't you say that? You're so slow. Everyone else thinks faster. Why were you born with Wi-Fi but no signal?" The human pulled the blanket tighter. The sentence applauded sarcastically. I floated closer, concerned but entertained. The brain escalated. At 3:11 a.m., the brain unlocked a premium feature, the imaginary audience. Now the sentence was no longer alone. There were people watching, judging, nodding in disappointment. None of these people existed. The brain did not care. The brain added coworkers, friends, someone from 2009, a person the human made eye contact with once at a grocery store. Everyone hated the sentence. Everyone hated the human. The human's heart rate increased. The brain interpreted this as applause. This is productive, the brain said proudly. I whispered into my recorder. Important note, the human brain confuses suffering with progress. I decided to test something. I checked the memory storage of the other human again. Still nothing, not even a trace. Just snacks and dreams. The pain was entirely homemade. This is when I understood the real danger of replaying conversations. It teaches the brain that every moment must be perfect. Every sentence must be approved. Every interaction is a performance. Humans don't replay conversations to understand them. Humans replay conversations to punish themselves creatively. The brain believes this will prevent future mistakes. Instead, it creates a human who over-edits sentences mid-sentence, apologizes for existing, rehearses conversations that will never happen. The brain calls this preparation. I call it imagination with a grudge. Around 4:02 a.m., something interesting happened. The human stopped replaying. Not because the brain was done, the brain is never done. The human was simply exhausted. The sentence lost power. The audience disappeared. The director quit. The brain sulked. Silence arrived awkwardly, like someone who showed up early to a party. I watched the human finally drift off. I wrote my final conclusion for the night. Conclusion. Replaying conversations feels important. It feels smart. It feels responsible. It is none of those things. It is the brain's attempt to feel safe in a world where humans cannot control reactions, timing, or other humans' faces. The sentence was never dangerous. The moment was never broken. The threat was imaginary. The brain just hates loose ends and loves drama. I closed my notebook and floated away quietly. As I passed another room, I heard a human say something normal. I froze. The sentence smiled. Earth continues its operations successfully. If humans found this report strangely accurate, unsettling, and funny in an uncomfortable way, that is expected. If humans laughed, learned, and then immediately replayed this video in their head later tonight, that is also expected. I am Mango Man. Still on Earth, still observing, still deeply involved. Subscribe before your brain edits this moment for the worse.